Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. And to start things off, I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker and you don't want to say anything, you don't want to type anything in chat, you just want to watch and let me entertain you, well, you can do that, and that's cool too. We got John here, we got Lashbrook, and we got Lord Crashton, who says, hey Pat, hey to you. Welcome, welcome. We got a stellar crew here right off the bat. We're kicking things off real nice style. Welcome and happy to have you here. Tonight's agenda, we are going to finish the R-GyaGya. We might start a Lego set. I don't know if we're going to have time. We might just look at it. And holy shit. We also need to throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe Tier 2 Blue Emote and John, who just gifted 10 subs. That's ridiculous. Thank you so much, John, for that. So yeah, please also throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe Tier 2 Blue Emote in the chat if you're a Tier 2, as we thank welcome Lunar Droid, Dr. Zing, Kosar Prime, Brozard, Effie, Elfie 64, Kocast or KOcast, and Mast, Sofari, Yojimboran, and Crimson Chain Creations. John says gets you halfway to 50. 10 more. Yeah, we're 10 closer to 50. For those who don't know, my goal is to get to 50 subscribers. You could be part of that. You could become a subscriber. You could gift a sub to somebody in the community. Although I think everybody watching right now in the chat is already a subscriber. I'm fairly sure that everybody watching is already a sub. But if you want to gift a sub, you want to join the gift sub leaderboard like John did, you could do that. And we are inching ever closer to the big 5-0. Or John did I say Lord Crashington? Sorry. You could join the gift sub leaderboard like John. My apologies, John. I said Lord Crashington, and that was a mistake on my part. So my apologies for that. What is on the agenda for to evening? You're Lord Crashington. No, can't do that. Lord Crashington says I'm joking that you're. Oh. See, I got all confused. See, what had happened was Lord Crashington said not me. And I thought that what that meant was that I had thanked Lord Crashington at one point instead of only thanking John. That was not the case. And what happened was Lord Crashington was saying, I'm not a subscriber, as a joke because they are a subscriber. And now I've explained how I made a mistake and wasted everybody's time. We got the R-GyaGya. I'm excited to finish this kit because it looks rad. I'm not excited that in the future I won't be able to say the R-GyaGya all the time because it's a very good bad name for a thing. Let's go to the overhead while we're doing that. Here's the overhead. Here we go. You may have noticed too much happening once indeed. Yes, the R-GyaGya gang. I said gang. R-GyaGya gang. Yeah, no, that's hard. That's hard. I don't know if I want to do that. You might not notice this at all, but you might notice, hey Pat, the work surface is brighter than it was on Saturday. What's up? Well, I didn't notice this until today. My new light that was going to fix all of my problems, because instead of it being a square or a circle, it was a light bar. That's what I just want a light bar. It's not this, but it's similar to this like shape, just like a cylinder shape. I had a light bar thing, and it's meant for to be used as a reading light for like a laptop. And I had it rigged up. And the thing that I was most excited about this particular item was that it was USB powered. So I could just plug it into an outlet. And I didn't have to charge it constantly, because the lights that I have been buying recently are that is the problem with them. We're going to move on here. We're going to work on the guns. Let's panel line these guns, and then we'll move on here. But the overhead light that I bought, and it wasn't expensive, so this was a cheap thing, but it was USB powered, and On Saturday, or maybe sometime last week, I started noticing like this is on its brightest setting. It doesn't feel bright anymore. It doesn't feel as bright, but it's working. And then today, I went to go power it on to test some settings. And then in between, I was going to power it off. And I went to hit the button to turn it off, and it wouldn't turn off. And then I happened to notice that when I unplugged it from its power source, there was no difference in the amount of light that it was shining on the surface. It had been losing its ability. Now, that could be because when the controller stopped working, but if you plugged it in, it was still on. It might be that the dial, you can dial in how bright it is. That might have gotten affected as well. Again, this was, I think, like a $15 purchase, and it's within the return window, so I am going to return it. So I am using the light source that I used previously, my overhead light. It's a little rectangle, but it's USB charge, not USB-C charge, not USB-C power. So even though it's plugged in right now, it's still going off the battery. And my biggest fear is that over time, it's going to not want to work for 2 hours and it'll just stop working, because it is actually doing a difference. And I'll just show real quick here. You can see the brightness here, and I'm going to turn it off. There's a noticeable difference. Now, it's not so bad right now. There, you can see there's more shadows. It actually, more than anything, prevents the shadows from my lamp that's off screen here. So it's not like the worst thing in the world, but when I turn this light on, which I will do here, I hold it, turn it on, there is a pretty noticeable difference. It does mean that I'm a little washed out over here, and I end up being a little washed out over here, around here, the edge. But, yeah, and John says, honestly, no light is fine too. Yeah, I agree. It does work better, and it is better to have. And the reason why that is the case is because the lamp that is right over here that is meant to illuminate the room, and I have on all the time, I recently replaced the bulb because that bulb was old. And so now there's a new bulb there. And that suddenly made a huge difference in the amount of light that's just in this room. So I don't technically need the overhead light. I still need the light that shines on me because it just kind of balances everything out. So I do have a ring light that's pointed on me. I should just get, what I need to get is, I don't want another ring light because overhead ring lights don't work well. You end up with the ring. And what is happening is, if I'm like, when I do my, we'll show this is what I'm going to be building next. If I put this here for like a mailbag video, you can see there's a bit of brightness right there from the overhead light, right? If I did a ring light, there would be a ring on this that would reflect off of it. So I don't want an overhead ring light, but what I do want is my ring light that is facing me. That's the kind of light I want because it is it's USB powered, not USB charging, and it's got its dial settings on a remote, and not on the actual device, because I don't like having to go over here and touching it. And I don't have to worry. I don't like worrying about it because I have to worry about the light. Will it last 2 hours? And then also I have to worry, will it just completely, like die on me? So even though I don't want to, what I am going to be looking for is another ring light that is just like the one I have. Because even though I don't like having the ring at all, and I don't want to do it, it's better than the alternative, which is to constantly worry, because I don't want to constantly worry. This ring light that I have here, I have had work consistently. It used to be the light that I used that folded over and lit my build space, and I replaced, and then it became my new light that shines the light on me, because the one I had that I think was bought by one of y'all, I had a little square light for me, and that ended up dying pretty quickly. So I was just like, oh, let me get a new light. I've said the word light too many times. It's losing all meaning. Long story, not short at all. I got to figure something out. I'm going to panel line this here now before I add any more parts to it. Illuminators, yeah. And the end of the day, I think we'll be okay if I don't have a super bright light on, but I think it's better. And then also, what I need to be paying attention to more is if suddenly the lighting looks bad to my eyes, oh, okay, it means that my lamp over here needs to get, I need to put a new bulb in. I also need to make sure I have enough bulbs. I have enough for now, but when I replace them, I have to actually be looking and seeing how many I have left, because I don't want to have one die on me and then I have nothing to replace it with. Simple things. In my ongoing saga, you may have been here on stream when I talked about me getting a photo for my upcoming renewal of my passport card. Well, I have mailed that off today. I have mailed off the form and a check. That's right. I found my checkbook. I sent out a check and sent that out so that I will eventually have a new passport card. That does mean that currently, right now, I do not have a form of identification. So I shouldn't do things that would require that. I do have, on a USB, which is currently in a shelf in my room, I have a photo of, a scanned photo of my passport card, because I had to mail it in. So I have that. So if I need to do something online where I have to enter information, I have that information to enter in for my previous passport card, which would then eventually will be replaced with a new one, and I'll have to, send some stuff out, and there'll be some forms where I have to update some forms with my new passport number, because I believe I'm getting a new number. Usually when you get a card or your passport booklet renewed, they give you a new number. So I believe I will be getting a new number. I can't say for sure that's going to happen, but I believe that is the case. But either way, I don't have ID right now, and that's weird. That's just a weird thing. I've had now 10 years. You've always got a new number. Yeah, I've had 10 years of that as my ID, or a little less because it hasn't expired yet. But yeah, so that's a weird thing, but hopefully that'll all work out great. Filled out the form. It was very easy to fill that out. Got all my stuff. Here's another thing I found out. We don't have a stapler in this house. They wanted my photo, my little passport photo that I got at the CVS. They wanted that attached to the form with staples. And I realized I don't have staples. I don't have a stapler. We bought a stapler. We bought a little mini stapler that came with staples. And now this house has stapler for situations like this, which you would not expect you suddenly had a need for it. Now we have it, which is good. I assumed my mom did, because my mom is a retired high school English teacher. And so I just assumed that she would also have, I don't know why I assumed that, but I assumed that she would have a stapler. But now we do. We have one in the house. John says, I'm reminded of Will Smith's story where he thought he was going blind, but in fact the LED light bulbs in his house were just going end of life and losing a lot of their brightness. Yes, I have experienced something like that. I once lived for a month in an apartment with, in a room with no windows. It was a railroad apartment. If you've ever been in a railroad apartment, it is a long room with long apartment with a bunch of doors, and there's no hallway. It's just rooms connected by doors. And the idea is that there's two doors out into the hallway, the building's hallway. So the bedroom, you go out and you can go in, and then basically the kitchen had windows and the bedroom had windows. And I was in one of the two connecting rooms for a month, and it had no windows. And the light bulb in that room was slowly deteriorating. And it took me about a week of living there for me to understand that it was just a bad light bulb, and I was not having eye strain. I was getting eye strain, but it wasn't because of my eye strain. It was because of the room I was in. So I have experienced that as well. Is your state a stop and frisk state? John, as far as I know, no. But here's the thing. South Carolina is a good old boy state. So as long as I'm not fussing, there shouldn't be an instance of fighting. you know, what I want, you know, it generally in a good, you know, it is a mind your manners, just do whatever, everything's fine. Um, on an occasion, I was with a friend of a friend here, and we were doing a bunch of stuff all day. And then at the end of the day, um, we stopped back at his place, and then I was going to get a ride back. And he goes, oh, shit, forgot my wallet, because he didn't need it. And so and it was like, oh, so shit, well, it's a good thing we didn't get pulled over. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's great we didn't get pulled over. I don't have a license. I was like, what? What were you saying? He's like, yeah, I don't have a license. I don't have insurance. And I was like, how long? And he was like, I've never had a license. And this man was in his 50s. And just has been driving for 30 years, more, 40 years, not 40, 35 years without a license. Just never been a problem. Just never had an issue. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not what I want to hear. Lester says, I recently been getting into figuring in a lighting setup, and I like the lights I have a lot, but the longer I run them, over 1 hour, the heat really tanks the battery life. Contemplating if I need a third one. Yeah, that might help you. If the heat is really affecting the battery life. I like lights that plug into an outlet, you know, run a power strip. When I was in New York and I had my, you know, I worked with the green screen for a while and then eventually realized I didn't want to use the green screen. But my lighting was, I didn't have any lighting pointed at me. I had two lights that were on C-stands and they were pointed away from me. They were big LED incandescent lights. And I had umbrellas, white umbrellas, light umbrellas that bounced the light back on me. And it lit me, it lit my table, it lit everything, and I only needed those, and I didn't need any additional lighting, and it ruled, and I missed that, but those did not come with me to South Carolina because there would be no room for them. There's no room behind my monitors. There's barely any room for my monitors in my setup here. I definitely don't have room for lights behind it, but in my old apartment, I had plenty of room for lighting, so that worked out great, especially in the last month, before I moved, where I had moved into my roommate's room to use it as an office because he had already moved out. He moved in with his girlfriend at the beginning of the pandemic because that felt like the right thing to do so they didn't have to commute to see each other. I don't know if they're still together, but I didn't think that was the right thing to do because he was moving out, and who the fuck was going to move in during a pandemic? But also, he made the right call, probably. The photo has been stapled to the form. Yes, the stapler is doing work in 10 more years. Yes. Well, let's be honest, John. Hopefully, in 10 years, when I need to renew that passport, I'm not in this house and I have my own stapler. Let's hope. Jesus. God. I just can't. I can't be here in 10 years. That can't be. Maybe it'll come with me. My ex-fiance moved in with me 3 months before the pandemic. She's now my wife. Everything worked out. John. Excellent. Hey, here's the thing, though. 3 months before the pandemic. Great. It wasn't because, oh, God, there's a pandemic, we should move in together. That was not the reason. You didn't do that. You are already together. It did work out great, John. Worked out very well. What with you being married and all. So, you know, good job. All right, we are almost done with our weapons here, our big machine gun weapons. I like a kit with big weapons. I also like a kit that is night themed. This is a night themed kit with big weapons. So, you know, it's right on the money for your friend Pat. I'm with it. I'm into it. All right, so these got to go on the back here. So these go on the back. Do these go on the... I thought these went on the back here. Looks like it should. Maybe I'll take these off and figure it out on this way. Yeah, because this is where it's got to go. There it is. Got it. Time to find some Coast Geese kits. They're very night-like. They are. I imagine those are probably very expensive, but they are night-themed. You're not wrong. Just plan your family visit around needing to use a stapler for your passport photos. Yes, that's a great call, Ashbrook. That's the solution. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't own a stapler. Well, I don't currently possess a stapler because my stapler is in storage because I didn't think I needed it when I came down here. I got a stapler because I was doing. So here's the thing. I didn't want to have a stapler. I got a stapler because what's happened here? Jam just subscribed with Prime. That's 75 months. Let's do the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Thanks, Jam. Jam, thank you so much. We're now at 41 subscribers. That's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We are on the road to 50 subscribers, everybody, because we're at 41. So yeah, I got a stapler because after my full-time job let me go, I was using their staplers because there was stuff at work. I just used the work stuff because why the fuck would I own a stapler? But after that job ended and I didn't have access to a stapler anymore, I was like, I don't think I need any of these things. I didn't have a printer, but my roommate did, so that was fine. He let me use that. But then a gig came out of nowhere where I did need to staple things at home. So I got a stapler, but that is currently in storage. When I worked in an office, I printed so much stuff at work. Oh, John, I printed out all kinds of things. Like I said, I did not have a printer. My roommate did, but I didn't have a printer because both theaters I worked at when I worked at 2 theaters totally had printers. I had access to them. I could just send whatever. Yeah, I mean, and those were things where those are small printers for a little thing. But sometimes I would just go to our office to print stuff out. Like, of course, everybody did. No, but nobody was worried about that. All right, so we got our guns here on the shoulders. We have a couple more things to build. Let's build we've got a beam weapon, but we need to build the sheath for it first. We're going to build it like it's just sitting on the side. We're finally going to get into some of... oh, no, we don't need any of that. Sorry. This is going to be this gold. There's one whole thing of gold we haven't even touched yet. We'll do this gold first. But yeah, no, don't worry. I did a lot of printing, a lot of assembly, a lot of whatever I need to do at work. Shipping things to the offices when I was living in apartments where I couldn't have mail delivered, all kinds of stuff. Do whatever you got to do. Make it happen. Print at workplaces when you're not sure which printer it will come out of. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, when there's multiple printers, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm going to do a test print. And then if someone says anything, I'll just go, so sorry about that. Yeah, I don't even know how that happened, but that was not my intention. It's that way you can get a sense of where it's going. Or do some stuff that you have to do. This was the IT job when I worked at the IT place. Nobody names them for the room they're in. Yes. When I was at the IT place and I had to print some stuff out, I would print out things that I needed. And in between those projects, I would print some stuff just for me. Because then it all comes out in one big thing. And unless someone is literally standing there watching them all go through, it's just fine. And nobody says anything. Not that anyone would say anything at that job. That was the job. I've talked about this before, I'm sure. That was the job where at one point we just started playing networked Doom. And we started playing Doom and the original mod for, what was it called? Team Fortress. We would play Team Fortress 1, the mod. And then we would hang out and play Doom maps and stuff on network computers because there were too many people in our department for the amount of jobs we had. Because I definitely said this because I've talked about this before. Because the number one thing we would get asked about was servicing the copy machines, and we weren't allowed to service the copy machines the copiers we could not service them because that was part of the contract with the people that owned the machines that we were renting. So we would just refer people. And most of the other time it was plugging in a network cable that came loose, or restarting a computer, or resetting someone's credentials because they didn't have credentials. They'd screwed something up. That job was very easy. Occasionally, there would be some printers that you would have to, realign or resend to. But eventually, the copiers were also the printers right before I left. So yeah, there would be long patches where nobody was working. I got paid money in college for mostly refilling printer paper in our library. Yeah, that's gonna be the thing people need at a college library. You're gonna need to do some printing. Yeah, I did a lot of that IT. It was very good work, easy enough. And like I said, the majority of the work I did was playing networked games with other people. Sometimes on the clock, sometimes after work, just hang out, because there would be some people in the office after our shift was done, still working, because they were working different hours. And you would just stay and hang out, get pizza, come back, hang out in space, make it our clubhouse a little bit, until people got very mad about that. Because eventually, I can't believe this, eventually people would get mad that we would just hang out all the time. And so we got asked not to hang out all the time. Unbelievable. Haters are good. Haters are going to hate. Hey, this is not your typical beam saber. This is a full-on beam sword. So we got a big old beam sword here that we can attach, which is going to look real fucking nice. We haven't even gotten to anything I want to talk about tonight. There's not a lot to talk about. We need to talk about the Steam game that everyone's talking about. Everybody's talking about this. Big news on Steam. So we do need to talk about it. That's right. The big thing on Steam today. Dive Kick patch notes. There was a surprise update for Dive Kick on Steam. They fixed it. They did some general fixes. They fixed an issue where player 2 controls took priority in an online match, which is not good. Invites and joining were not working with the Steam friends list. That's been an issue since a Steam update not too long ago, apparently. They fixed a crash that would occur when a player would join a match while another player would be talking. And most importantly, and weirdly, because I had to go and go, wait, what? Dive Kick on PC now has proper anti-aliasing and doesn't suffer from Vita performance enhancements. Apparently, the Vita only changes that were made to the game were affecting the Steam version somehow. That's right. Dive Kick came out on Vita. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a Vita version of Dive Kick, but apparently it was affecting the the Steam version. So yeah, Iron Galaxy put out a Dive Kick update today. The real story is, of course, the game that people are going nuts for is Hades 2. Didn't come out today. The early access for Hades 2 came out today, so people are excited for that. I think Jeff mainly played on Vita in bed. Probably. Iron Galaxy did some banger Vita work. They did, totally. John, I'm not lying. I just think it was very funny that apparently that was affecting things. That just made me laugh to hear that. Oof, it is warm in this room. I've talked about this on Saturday. We are currently in the period where the air conditioner runs until it doesn't at night, because it's not too hot at night, but it's hot in this room. But the air conditioner is still going when I start the stream, so I don't open my window while there's an air conditioner going, so it's just gets warm in here. And it is warm in here. All right, so we got our cool beam sword here. You played the Dive Kick a couple months ago because I got the 8-bit keyboard that also comes with a giant A and B button, and it definitely had some real potato quality. Yeah. But yeah, hey, Dive Kick is $5 on Steam, and it came out almost 11 years ago. The last patch before this was they dropped the price in 2015, and they did a Fencer content update and price reduction. So this is the first update they've had since 2015, and they made it, instead of $10, $5. Fencer from Nidhogg has been added to the player character via free content update for dive kick owners. So you can have the Fencer from that. But yeah, Hades 2 is out, and people are excited about that. People might not be excited about this. We don't know. We don't know how this is going to play out in the future. I just don't know how people are going to feel about this one. So we got our sword. We also need to build our double blades. So you may remember this story. I talked about it on stream when it had happened. We're probably going to get into this. There was a big old hootenanny and an uproar about Helldivers 2 because Sony, when the game launched on PC and on PS5, there was an issue where a bunch of stuff wasn't loading properly because of having to log in. Servers were having trouble connecting. It was a nightmare. I think it was a game that was had ended up being more popular than they had previously anticipated, and they were definitely at a loss for how to handle that situation. So the solution that ended up happening was they just said, you don't have to log into your PSN account, which again is free, but you don't have to log into that if you want to play Helldivers 2 on PC. It's fine. It'll just work. Have fun with the game. Apparently, they assumed at some point they would just make that a requirement. At the very least, they would make it for like new players, and then also eventually everybody would have to do it. Now, why is that a problem? We have heard from several people who are just like, making an account is free. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Well, turns out you can buy games on Steam in a lot of countries throughout the world. And in fact, they try to make that as easy as possible for you to buy a bunch of different games on Steam all across the world. It's kind of a thing they really want to do. They would really like you to do that. Well, you can't make an account for PlayStation in a lot of countries in this world because Sony does not have a local foothold in those territories, countries, and regions, so they don't allow you to make a PSN account there. So a bunch of people who bought the game for the PC and it worked for them were going to have a countdown to when the game wouldn't work for them anymore. So Steam made the decision to honor refund requests, even if you had played over a regular allotment, because in good conscience, they didn't want people to, well, I say in good conscience, that's me speculating. Steam doesn't want that shit. They don't want that smoke. They want to make it very clear that this is Sony's problem, not a Steam problem. Because it was a Sony problem, not a Steam problem. I will say, to their credit, very quickly, Sony was like, actually, never mind. Actually, we're good. It's like less than a week. And they were like, actually, yeah, don't worry about it. And then, apparently it's over 150 countries had to delist the game. And even the CEO of Arrowhead was basically just like, yeah, we would like you to be able to play our game, and we're sorry that this is happening. I forgot about this until I read this here. As soon as 12 a.m. hit on Sunday night, yes. The CEO of Arrowhead was just like, you should share your thoughts with PlayStation's customer service page. He was just like, take it up with the manager. Don't ask, don't care, don't come to me with this. We would like you to be able to play our game. But yes, the reviews tanked, and it was a total nightmare. Um, apparently, it's back to mixed, and some people are saying thank you for doing this, Sony, and other people are deleting their negative reviews because they genuinely still like the game. Will this mean that people who ask for a refund will buy the game again? I don't know, because who knows if Sony might at some point go, actually, we have to do this. We're so sorry, but we got to do this. But I would say that if you watching this right now are in a region where Sony does not sell things, it probably will behoove you to read as much as you can about when they are, any game that you're interested in that Sony makes, and keep your eyes peeled on that to see if there is before you pick up one of them games in the future. Just make sure you know what's up, so you are not stuck. All right, so how does this work? What do I gotta do here? How do you go? What are you doing? Sorry, hold on. I don't know how this works. Oh, it goes like that? Okay. Maybe I don't know how this works. Okay. Sorry, everybody. There it is. Could not figure out how this piece went on, but now I do. Now I know. We are building the dual blade here. So this is going to go in like that. It links in like that. That's neat. And then this is going to link in here. And we'll panel line this front piece so it looks nice and sharp. But yeah, so that is some good news for Helldivers 2. As a Helldivers 2 enjoyer, I am happy to read this, to hear about that. Yeah, when I heard about that last night, I was like, good. Sounds good. That was good news. Let's see. If you have a Meta Quest 1, your time playing Beat Saber is going to come to an end, which is a shame because that is a game that is good on any VR system. So if you have a Meta Quest 1, because Meta has moved on from the Meta Quest, so it is going to become increasingly difficult for some developers to keep up with that. So yeah, it looks like November 2nd, VR rhythm game will leave the headset. Oculus wants to focus on efforts in the right direction, is what they said. The game is also on PC and PlayStation VR, and basically Oculus is like, we can't keep updating it for everything, which makes sense, but also fucking sucks because it's not like your Quest stops working. Your Quest is still going to work. It's just a game that you paid for won't work on it anymore. I'm sorry. You'll be able to play it on a device, but you won't be able to play multiplayer. So it's not going to stop working totally. It's just one of the modes is no longer going to work, and also future support is done. And then also leaderboards might go away. They're not sure if they're going to kill leaderboards or not. But if you have a Quest 2 or a 3, you can play your copy of that and DLC on that. So all you need to do is not use your Quest anymore and get a different Quest, and you're good. Which is rough, because Beat Saber rules. And it was a launch title for the Quest 1. But it also is on other places, so you can get it other places. So now we have two cool weapons here. We've got our double beams, and we've got our sword. I'm going to take a photo with these out like this before I take the photo, or before I put the... maybe I'll keep these on. I don't know. We'll do the expressive version here. I got to take the hand off to put the hand together, right? You know the drill here. Let's see. Are there other news? This is kind of a slow news day. Not a lot going on various websites. Yeah, that's it for GameDeveloper.com's news. Let's see if there's any news on Polygon. They're mostly talking stuff. I have my opinion on the Superman photo of Superman in his costume is, I guess I'm in favor of him having underwear on the outside. In general, I don't really have an opinion because I don't expect to watch that movie. Because I like Superman as a character, but I don't think that modern directors and writers have been able to get Superman particularly well in a modern era. And that, yeah, I'm just not super into modern interpretations of Superman. So, uh, you know, I like Superman a lot, like I said, but I just don't think that they've fully nailed it over the years, which is a shame. All right, so we got our cool weapons here. We're looking dope as hell. Let's build the shoulder components here. Got to build our big discs that live on the shoulders. Get those together. Could finally get these things out. Oh, we also have I forgot. There's also a gold version of the beams. Or beam sabers. Also, so we could, instead of this with that, we could have them be made out of gold, which is a fun touch. I don't think we will because I like a good green beam saber, but let's see. Yeah, so I really don't have an opinion on that. Let's see. Buckshot Roulette is a game you might start hearing people talk about. Lashbrook says nobody wants to do an actual Superman story. They want to deconstruct it or whatever. Yeah. Also, I don't want origin stories. I'm kind of done with. I've been done with for a decade or more. I still think we'll get them, but I'm a bit done with that. So just give me... I mean, honestly, I want a Clark Kent movie where he does Superman stuff. Because I think a story about a reporter trying to do a good job as a reporter who also has to worry about saving the world is kind of interesting. The build is going pretty good. This is our third stream working on this kit. The R-GyaGya is a fun night-themed kit. It has been pretty straightforward to put together. We're currently working on the last components of it. And yeah, overall, this has been a pretty all right build, I would say. I would call this one, yeah, pretty all right. All right, so I need the rockets there. But yeah, I think that a new Superman movie does not move me because modern DC has not been super interesting to me in general. The side stories are more interesting. I think that, like... Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's a weird thing to say where I'm just like, the cartoons for DC have been good. The Harley Quinn series is excellent. The anime-inspired Lois and Clark is fantastic. I it's like, I think those are kind of more interesting in general than what we have seen out of the film division. So I'm not like chomping at the bit for another take at Superman. But I didn't hate the costume they put out there. So that's something. That's a nice thing I could say, I guess. It's like, oh, I didn't hate it. They put that photo out and I was like, oh, this isn't bad. You finished the RG Zeta. Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah, hey, here's the thing. Real grades are pretty good about transformations. On the display back here, I do have the Epion, and I have built an Epion in the 90s. I built the master grade, and I built the high grade of it, and then I built the real grade, that is the modern one. And the real grade is the best of the three as far as transforming. The problem being that the Epion is not a great looking transformation. Because it just looks like the legs are supposed to be dragon heads, but it just looks like it folded in half. The Zeta, if I remember correctly, I haven't built that real great, but if I remember correctly, that transformation looks pretty great in practice. So I hope you have some good results. Um, yeah, Buckshot Roulette is a horror game that has 1 million sales on Steam. Um, and basically, you are forced to play roulette against your will is like the theme of the game. It does seem to be blowing up on socials. It launched on itch first, and then had a one-person team, and then has made it to Steam, and it's done very well. As it's a $3 game, yeah. Well, it's one of those things, right? It's done very well on like social media platforms. It blew up on TikTok, so that's good. That's good to hear, and that is always exciting. It's a $3 game. Yeah, it makes sense. Oh, there's some real fragile joints. Yeah. Sometimes that'll get you, even on a modern kit. They'll still get you here and there with things that don't seem to want to transform the way they or move the way they claim they would want to move. That does happen. All right, let's do the trick here. It's not really a trick. Just kind of balance on there. Like this. This is not a polycap that we are moving here. This is a piece of plastic, so we have to kind of guide it and help it along. And that did it. Because the idea is that we want to make sure that the pointer, or the point there, comes through so that we can then attach it to wherever we need to attach it to. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. Just use our spudger pointy end here to kind of balance it, and then we can push it through. Because if I'm just putting pressure on with my fingers, it might move in a way that won't let me lock it into place. And now it should be locked into place, because then we will follow it up with this here. And therefore, it shouldn't come out. And then, yeah, then it's locked into place. Hooray. Yeah, definitely, Lord Crashing. It does seem like an easy game to pick up and understand. This is a fun interview on Polygon. Buckshot Roulette was never meant to be a commercially viable product, says Mike Klubnicka, who made the game, the solo developer of it, or anything extended beyond my usual audience. Even though the initial release did have a price tag, there was no actual calculations or accounting going on. Apart from the very basics, I knew nothing about game marketing, community building, and such. So I just put it out there, hoping that other people will have fun with my idea. And apparently they did. And that is awesome. That is very cool for him that he has found an audience. Apparently he's made other games, games like The Other Side. He says, personally, I think horror games have a lot more room for experimentation compared to other genres. When the main goal is to scare the player, the rest of the game can basically be anything, so you can pretty much do whatever you want. That's neat. That is a fun approach. And he says he was inspired by Inscription, which makes sense. Buckshot Roulette, he's going to expand it into a multiplayer game, apparently. So that seems ambitious. But basically, one of the reasons he wanted to get it Steam ready is so that he can use tools via Steam to get that together. And now he gets to work on full time. And seems pretty fucking psyched about it. And he is partnered with Critical Reflex, and they are been apparently mostly working on this larger release. But yeah, good for him. That's awesome. These little stories are always nice. You can't replicate that stuff, but you can hopefully learn from it, right? So that is cool. Let's see. Was there any other thing? Somebody paid $3 million for the a Black Lotus card, a Magic the Gathering Black Lotus. An Alpha Black Lotus card fetched $3 million at auction. It is a very rare card because it is from the Alpha, and also this particular card was apparently in mint condition, so it was in superior condition to previous. So a lot of the other ones have been up for auction. Still, $3 million is, and kind of uncomprehendable amount of money. That is just like, I don't have the proper words for that. The idea that someone has $3 million that for a thing is just ridiculous to me. That a Magic the Gathering card could be worth $3 million is just nonsense. Yeah, it is completely out of there. It's like 600,000 subs of money. Yes, John. Just print out a copy. Yeah, right, Lord Crash. You just like, whatever, you get it in an arena. Like, who cares? Whatever. No, I can't do that. Yeah, and so CGC Cards posted about this. 1993 Magic the Gathering Limited Edition Alpha. Pristine 10. So they're the people that said it's a pristine 10. So they should know. No, but Pristine Collectibles sold it to a mystery buyer, which apparently, again, this is a record-breaking amount. 2021, a signed Black Lotus card went for $500,000 at auction. And again, that's signed, so that's worth it to some people, but not worth anything to other people. And so that was the most anyone had spent on a Magic Gathering card at the time, recorded anyways. And then in 2023, another Black Lotus went for $615,000. And then should just say that at some point, a card, a Black Lotus apparently at some point sold in 2019, sold for $166,000. But this one is ranked it is the highest, Magic the Gathering card. This one, again, considered pristine condition. There have only been 1,100 of this alpha were printed. And it's I'm not going to tell you. Look, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what the Black Lotus does. It's pretty good. And also it's banned. You can't even use it. It's just about having it. You can't play a Black Lotus in games. It's part of the Power 9. Also should say that in 2000 last year, the most money ever spent on a Magic the Gathering card, recorded wise, was $2 million last year. And that's from Post Malone. Post Malone bought a Magic the Gathering card last year. He bought the One Ring because he wanted to have the One Ring, because they did a Lord of the Rings set where they put out like one copy of a card. And then Post Malone really wanted that card because Post Malone plays Magic the Gathering and loves Magic the Gathering. And if someone is going to spend $2 million on that card, I guess I'm glad it's Posty, because I know he actually cares about the game. A one-of-kind Magic the Gathering card, rarest ever. He bought that. Brooke Trafton was the guy that ended up with that card. Post Malone bought that card, yeah. He's got the One Ring. And yeah, $2 million. And one thing I will say that was neat night about that was that Trafton wanted to sell that card to someone that plays Magic the Gathering. Obviously, he sold it for $2 million, and that's wild. But he wanted to sell it to somebody that actually likes the game, and it wasn't just someone looking to who does not care and just cares about card, taking a risk on a card like that. Got to play the Underground MTG. Yes, indeed. It's only restricted in vintage. You're right. Yes. You're right. It's only restricted in vintage. Also, one of the things that was fun about the guy that got the One Ring and sold it is that he was like psyched to meet. He's like, yeah, I got the One Ring card, and then I got to meet Post Malone, and it's just like, that's also neat. I think that's fun. I think it's fun that this dude was just like, I don't know. I found this one-of-a-kind card. I sold this one-of-a-kind card to a Magic Gathering player, and then I got to meet that player who is also Post Malone. And it's just like, yeah, that's neat. That's some fun stuff. And I remember this article, from last year, because he was just like, yeah, it would have been nice to keep that card, but selling this card is changing my life. And it's just like, yeah, for sure, man. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, dude, it definitely is. Even when you pay taxes on it, it's totally cool. Yeah. I don't know. I always remember that being pretty fucking dope. Let's see. Let's see if there's any wrestling news before we take our pause for the cause and talk about ways you can support the channel. And then we get back into finishing this up because we're almost done with this. It's almost time to start getting some Lego stuff together. We got to get some final compartments to this. We need to make it so that it can fit on the shoulders or the hands. Because also you can have these. You can have the things that will attach to the shoulders. You can also have it attached to the hands, and then these just become big shield fists, which is a fun nonsense idea. But I have now panel lined this enough, and so we can clean it up. Let's see. Any wrestling news we can talk about here in a second? I don't know. Apparently, Asuka is injured. Which we don't know when that injury took place. Dakota Kai replaced her in the Queen of the Ring. We don't know if that's storyline. But yeah, Dakota Kai is gonna face Lyra Valkyria. So yeah, so we don't know if that's storyline. If they're just like, oh yeah, we just Asuka wants some time off, so we're going to say she's injured, or if she did get injured, we don't know if that also might explain why their match was kind of balls. If she was actually injured, that could explain some things. I don't know. I wish Asuka the best. Let's see. There was another QR code on Raw, I guess, tonight, but whatever. I don't care about the QR codes. I think it's a terrible idea. I think the Wyatt 6 is a bad idea. I think you just let the memory of Bray Wyatt continue and Wyndham Rotunda rest in peace, of course. But having a bunch of creepy weirdo wrestlers doing some sort of homage feels odd. I mean, get a paycheck. The guys that are getting hired to come in to do this. Maybe it's something cool for some people, some wrestlers to get to do some cool shit. But I don't know. In general, I'm like, I think I'm against it. I don't just don't particularly like the idea of it in general. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But yeah, Bo Dallas gets paid. Sure. Eric Rowan gets another paycheck from them. Cool. But yeah, in general, I'm like, meh. All right, now it's the part of the stream where I am going to talk to you about ways that you can support what I do here. The pause for the cause. This is my golden opportunity to talk to you about ways you can support the channel if you are so inclined. Everything I'm about to tell you is optional. You don't have to do any of these things, but if you'd like to help me out, you're more than welcome to do it. First and foremost, if you are currently a subscriber to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. As you saw, Jam resubbed with Prime tonight, so you can use your Prime token if you have Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime and you have Twitch and you link the two together, you get Twitch Prime. You can use it on anybody. Why not use it on this guy? Also, you could gift a sub like Mjon did. Mjon gifted 10 subs, which is wild. That's so great. So you could gift the sub. We're currently at 41 subscribers. The goal is to get to 50. I shut up at 50. So if you'd like to gift the sub, you could do that. But there are other ways to support me. As I said, all of these are optional. You don't have to do any of these things, but if you want to, it would be great. I would love it. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBaer. Over on my Patreon, there are different tiers, and you could join in there. There is the $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier, and there are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon, especially if you don't, by default or by policy, you don't like to subscribe to streams. You could always jump on the Patreon. I have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBaer. Over my YouTube channel, you can subscribe for free over there if that's something you'd like to do, or if you wanted to, you could become a member. And memberships are just $2 a month. And you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So tomorrow, you'll get a new video that other people will have to wait till Wednesday to see. So you could do that if you wanted to. Those are monthly ways to support me and, a recurring monthly bill. If you just want to, once in a while, help me out a little bit here with a tip, you want to hit the old tip jar, you could do that by going to my PayPal or my Ko-Fi. Everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense. So watching my videos helps me out. Through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I buy model kits to build. The R-GyaGya that we have right here, which I'll push right up there. The R-GyaGya, I was able to purchase with previous used support. Came directly out of those funds. Saw it, decided I wanted to get it, picked it up. So you could contribute to that in the future if you would like. The next kit that I will be building, next set I will be building, which we might end up starting tonight, is the Spaceship and Asteroid Discovery. The Lego City Spaceship and Asteroid Discovery. This was bought by an anonymous person off my Amazon wish list. So I made a dedicated YouTube video about the item, and it became the next thing that I'm building. So it's the thing I'm going to work on right now. That's an easy way to decide what I build next, is to buy something off my wish list. Because when I'm done with that Lego set, I'll go to my backlog, and if something is bought off my wish list, that'll jump the queue as well. I have inexpensive kits, expensive kits, all kinds of different things, Lego and model kits. I just added the War Horse, which is meant for the SD kits. It's a mech horse that you can put an SD kit on, and I thought that would be neat and fun to have. So I got a mech horse. I got inexpensive Lego. I got expensive Lego, inexpensive model kits, expensive model kits, Pokemon and Digimon, and all kinds of different things that I'd be happy to build. See if there's something on there. I recently also added to the wish list the JAG-DOGA Quest Paria. Or so I think it's like Q's Paria. I don't know. It's a JAG-DOGA, and I'll have to learn how to say that correctly, but it's a long name. The Gundam MSN3 JAG-DOGA Quisparia Custom, which I just wanted to give a shout out to because it's a great long name. And there's some gear at the bottom. I'll probably do more research and try to find a better light to replace the light I have here, and I'll probably put that on the wish list as well, because it's always good to have stuff on the wish list. Mjon says, I know the Gundam you're talking about, but the words make no sense. Yes, Mjon. So if you want me to struggle with the name of a kit, you could buy that. Or you just buy whatever. You don't have to buy anything. But that is a way to support me. Again, I'll make a dedicated YouTube video about the thing that you bought in my mailbag series, and then I'll build it on stream, and it'll have priority. I have a throne wish list, which right now I believe is just a couple pieces of technology, and then also a lot of gift cards. If you just want to buy something that's not through Amazon and support me, you could do that. And then, of course, the most I almost said worst. It's not the worst way. The most convoluted way to support me financially is you go to USA Gundam Store and buy a gift card. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter, because my DMs are still open, with that gift card code, and I will use that gift card code to buy a model kit from USA Gundam Store. And people, I think 3 people have done that now. Maybe 4 people, maybe 4 times and 3 people. It's happened. But that is the most convoluted way to do that. But I do appreciate it that people have wanted to do it. All right. So if you want to support me and not spend any money, we're going to get back to model kit building. Don't you fucking worry about it. We'll get back to that in just a second. If you want to support me and not spend a dime, you can join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. My Discord is full of lovely people. It's a good time. Pat Baer's Anime Club is my ongoing video series where every other week I put up a new video taking a look for something in the world of anime that I want to chat about. This is my recommendations for this current season. Some of those shows I talk about on stream. Some other ones are just watching. Like I'm not keeping abreast of season 3 of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, which is good, but I'm not going to keep you up to date on that one. And then Kuma Baer. Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. I have a different theme every month. May's theme is anime from the 2000s. I wanted to originally do hidden gems, but then I realized I wanted to promote shows that also people have heard about, but maybe you just never gave a shot to. So even if it is not a hidden gem, it's just a hidden gem for you, that kind of thing. So the first one was Orin High School Host Club, which is the premise is a romantic comedy premise of a reverse harem, which I don't think is real. It's just a harem with a girl. But a girl is forced to join a host club and pretend to be a boy with a bunch of boys there. And it is set up like it's a romantic comedy, but it's not a romantic comedy. It's just a comedy with a little bit of romance. And it's very fucking good. And you should watch my 1-minute video trying to encourage you to check that show out. All right. Now is the part of the stream where I am going to talk about some anime that I have been watching. I decided that I was going to get caught up on Kaiju number 8 because I was a week behind on Kaiju number 8. So I was like, well, I'm just going to watch both episodes 3 and 4 of Kaiju number 8. And then I would talk about that. And then I'm going to Whisper Me a Love Song. I've watched it. I have notes on it. I'll talk about that on Thursday. So we'll just do it like that. But before I can do that, I need to drink some water. And I need to dramatically transition back to the overhead, which I am going to do right now. All right. Anime. Kaiju number 8. As I begin to finish this kit up, I will start talking about that. We're going to talk about 2 episodes here. So, if you have not been watching, the premise of Kaiju number 8 is it is a world where there are kaiju, monsters. There are small ones and big ones. There is the defense force that takes on the monsters. And there is, there are people who just live their normal lives. And there are also people that are involved with kaiju. But they're involved in kaiju in the sense that they are there to clean up after. Our main character, Kafka, he has a long-standing promise, a childhood promise, that he was going to fight the kaiju together with his friend, childhood friend, Mina. She goes on for greatness. He is washed out of the exam every time, but he's got another chance to do it because they have changed. He was too old for it for a while, but they have upped the age because it's not as exciting to people anymore after apparently so many people have died, and also they haven't beaten these monsters. So he's all ready to do it. You know, he was doing the crime scene cleanup, but now he's like, okay, it's my time to shine. I'm going to make this happen. A issue in that is that he swallowed a tiny bug that may or may not have been a kaiju, and now he can turn into a kaiju man. And so he probably would be able to pass the test, but also he's probably going to get fucking killed if people figure out that he is a monster. But he's going to take the test anyway. His friend, Reno, also knows about this. That he knows his secret. They're taking the test together. They're friendly rivals. You know, they're gonna make this thing work. We are meet in episode 2. We meet Kikoru. Kikoru. I said Kibori. That is not the name. Kikoru, who is just like an A student and also is like, you smell like a kaiju. She lets that go. We're going to be talking about her a lot because she is someone who is just going to be insulting and bullying our friend all the time. Anyway, she's just like surprised that Kafka is so strong, but she's like, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. There are 2 tests in the second phase. There is the fitness test and then the selection test. And the aptitude test. And they're like, okay, well, I think I'm going to nail the fitness test. He does not. And he gets teased for it. Yeah, our boy does not step up, does not pull it off. He is not premium. But they're going to keep moving. Apparently everyone, Kikuro, everyone is aimed at her. She is stealing everybody's attention and everyone's focus. And Kafka's like, you know what? She's talked a lot of trash, but I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure this out. But inside he's worried that he's, even with, you know, he can't use the monster abilities within him, but even with that, he's like, this isn't going to work out. But apparently there's some kaiju cleanup duties, which Kafka is obviously a specialist in, but that's not actually, that's not actually what's happening with that. Let's see. Hoshina, who is helping running the test, says, no, you have to capture and exterminate kaiju in the area. And they're like, what does this have to do with cleanup? But it's an area where there was cleanup. But obviously that wasn't going to be their jobs. And I don't know why he thought that would be the case, because it's that's not the division he's trying to join. They put on their defense kaiju combat suits. They basically have like, oops, hey, this light died. That's excellent. That's excellent. Battery died on this. Oh, it's got 1 bar left. All right, so I definitely have to buy a new light because this thing, my guess is that this thing was not charged enough. My guess is that this thing was not charged enough when I turned it on for the stream, because I haven't used it. But yeah, I guess tonight after the stream, I'm going to buy a light that, again, I can just plug in. I'm going to try to buy the ring light, the exact ring light that I have. I don't know if that's still for sale, but hopefully I can buy it, because that one has at least lasted. And again, do I really absolutely positively need it? No, but it's nice to have a light. The Jeff Backelar of cheap lights. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So I got, this is on here. There's another way to hold these on the side. We're going to do the 2 methods. We're going to do a photo with them attached here. I got to fix that leg on here. And then we will do a version of it where all of the beams and stuff are sticking out of it without these weapons when we're holding them, and they are punch shields. Anyway, Kafka's apparently, like, he's the lowest of the low here, and he's not feeling good about all of this. He doesn't think he's got a shot at advancing in this new test. All right, so let's get these things going here. We'll get a photo together here. Apparently, Mina, his childhood friend, who went on to be really powerful and strong with the Defense Force, she is watching the exams. Let's see. Kafka makes the weird decision. He's like, okay, we should focus on support because I have a lot of knowledge of monsters because I've cleaned up a lot of monsters. And even if I don't have combat skills, we can lay in some support. So that's kind of what they do. There's a whole good scene where he like throws a stun grenade to blind it. And then he tells another participant, shoot in the stomach because that's the monster's weak point. He knows the weak points because he's basically using his knowledge from having to, dissect kaiju. He can give like some people some support. So he's like, all right, I think that's our way, is that we'll just be on the support squad. And maybe he won't have to use his kaiju abilities. But then there is a small one that shows up and attacks him. And they're like, hey, Kafka's getting hurt. We're probably going to have to rescue him because he's gotten hurt here. He's probably not going to be able to keep fighting. Kikuro helps Kafka out. And she's like, look, I don't like seeing people fail. And then she does, even though she's like, because to prove that my theory that she is tsundere, she's still like, look, I don't need you. I don't want to see people fail, even though like you shouldn't be doing this and you're kind of shitty at this. So she still has to like, dig at him a bit, even though she is, I guess, trying to be nice in her own way. Let's see. Hoshino tells Kafka that he has fatal wounds, and he's like, okay, maybe I should give up. But he doesn't give up. And then his combat power actually even goes up a little bit. Is this related to his transformation abilities? We don't know. But he doesn't want to give up. That's the end of episode 3. So then we jump to episode 4. We're moving on into episode 4. Let's see. This episode is titled Fortitude 9.8, which will be important later. So I'm telling you this now as a tease that things are going to get serious here. Oops, that came off the way I didn't want to. All right, so we got to take all these weapon pieces off here. We'll put this on there. Oops. Oops. Come on. Come on. There it is. All right, great. All right, so now I need to put this on here. I need to swap. Jesus. This kit looks great, but it definitely doesn't like to stay together. I don't know about posing this particular one. All right, so then we're going to take these off. And we're going to replace this with a thing that we're putting on the hands so that we can turn these into punchers. And then before we add them as punchers, we're also going to add all of these effect parts and also these as well. And then this is going to look fucking cool as hell. So we're going to do that next. All right, this light. Yeah. Okay. So this light's off. It's not going to. Yeah. Maybe it'll get a little bit of charge while I'm doing this, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's definitely darker in here. And I don't like that. So yeah, I'm definitely after stream going to buy a new light because this thing Maybe it'll charge and last for the 2 hours, but it definitely doesn't want to stay on, and that's very frustrating. All right, let's get the new connectors here. We'll move on, and then we'll get into some Lego, probably. At least get some set up on there. Okay, yeah, this thing, I'm not even going to bother with it. I'm going to let it charge up. I'll buy something. Hopefully, it'll be here for Thursday's stream, and then we'll have to just deal with it. Again, it's not the end of the world, but it's not as bright as it could be. All right, as I'm starting to put these things together here, because I got to get these things together, I need a 15, 16, and 19. 15, 16, and 19. Okay. All right, so episode 4. Kafka is basically riding Reno's shoulders. And they follow Kikuro, because they want to support her, because that they're still focused on the support route. And basically Hoshina's like laughing at them for them sticking with it right now, because really they should probably both just quit. Kikuru defeats the last monster on the battlefield, and they're like, all right, great. We're going to send some medics to help people out, and that she gets her skills get acknowledged because she is clearly, the best person in this particular exam. She's doing the work. People are excited about her. She's apparently the daughter of the Defense Force director, the general director. So she's got some lineage, some pure lineage there. And apparently she's doing all this to impress her dad. But hey, something weird is happening. A monster attacks her. And then other monsters that were definitely dead are now no longer fucking dead. Uh-oh. Something's going on, because, yeah, these monsters were dead and now aren't dead. So nobody knows exactly what's happening yet. Kiguru has been hurt, but she's still going to keep fighting. And then the kaiju that she's fighting, this kaiju that appeared, starts talking and shoots some projectiles so our girl is immobilized. And then they're letting people know, hey, some shit's going down. Things are getting fucking weird right now. And they're like, all right, get some eyes on there. We're going in. Get some people to shelters. But apparently Kikuru she's still fighting. She's ignoring the orders. And these monsters have been powered up. They are stronger than they were before. And it looks like she is dead. So it's time for a fucking flashback. Oh, that's right. It's a flashback, everybody. Because we need to find out that our girl has been doing this for her father's attention. Because she witnesses that when you do well, parents say good job. And she would like that at a young age. But even though she does well, her father's like, well, of course you did well. What do you want from me? You have to do even better. So she's chasing that. She is chasing that admiration, that feel-good admiration. Minor victories, like, you could just fail, so I'm not going to praise you for that. But she would like to do well. And also, a lot of pressure is placed on this young lady to be excellent, because she needs to be great in order to defeat all the monsters, to honor her father and also her deceased mom. So that is just unbelievable amounts of pressure. That is not cool, my guy. That sucks. Kafka is Kafka's like, I'm gonna have to fight and save the day. Reno is like, they will kill you. But he's doing it anyway. There's also a fucking flashback that explains what happened, and we didn't need it. Like, Yeah, of course, when presented with saving the day, Kafka is going to. We don't need to see a flashback of him doing it. I think it was just to build tension, but it was weird. Um, uh, anyway, he comes in to save the day, uh, and he's like, "Hey, don't tell anybody. It's me, and it's okay." And he starts fighting the monsters, the powered up monsters. And he's like, "I'll tell you more about it later," he promises. We cut back to Hoshina and Mina talking about the fortitude levels, and this is the highest level, 9.8. And it's like one of the most powerful kaiju in history. So everything's off the charts. Kafka is defeating these powered up monsters with no problem. And looks like he's beating them up enough that they stay dead. There's a bunch of people who are going to fight. They manage to regroup. And there's a lovely little scene where a still kind of a monster version of our guy, Kafka, praises Kikaru and tells her, like, she did a good job. And that's all this girl has been wanting. But instead it came from the guy that she has been bullying. The Defense Force troops show up, including Mina. And we find out that they got to the operations room. So they're getting some recovery. Mina shows up to talk to Kafka and Reno. And she's basically like, "Hey, good job." And also, it looks like that Kikaru is going to recover. And then she goes to leave, and Kafka starts to stop her, but then thinks better of it. And this is supposed to be the reunion. This is the reunion of these two childhood friends that went their separate ways and got into different worlds. And this was going to be their moment. And we do not get that moment. That does not happen. And it's weird. Obviously, this is episode 4, but it's still weird. And he's like, "I'm gonna, he's like, once I pass this, then I'll talk to her." And then apparently, Kikaru has taken credit for killing that monster, killing the Honju. She is taking credit for it to protect him, which is good to hear. But then we get shit gets weird. Now, obviously, this is a show where monsters are there. They're kaiju. And there's also our main character can turn into a kaiju and back. So we already know that things are going off the rails. But now it's even more off the rails because that kaiju earlier that was talking, that revived the other monsters, he starts trying to use a cell phone. And then he's talking to the cell phone. And as he's talking to the cell phone, he turns back into a human. And then he exits the restroom because he was on the phone there. And he runs into some kaiju cleaners. And the kaiju cleaners are like wondering how Kafka and Reno are doing. So the monster that caused all these problems is someone that can become a kaiju. Just like our main character can become a kaiju. What does this mean? I don't know, because I haven't read this far in the manga. So I actually don't know. But I'll hopefully know soon. Because I'll be watching more of it. Alright, so then we can kind of do it like this. I got to see how this goes. So this will be attached like... Oh, nope. That just came all kinds of apart. Good episode. Again, I didn't necessarily see this twist coming because I haven't been paying attention to the source material. So I was like, "Oh, word? Okay. There are more people that can turn into monsters. That makes sense." I'm excited to see where this goes. And if our guy can make it and what happens and what happens when more people start finding out that he can become a monster. But he's a good monster. Like he said in the second episode, the young girl is like, "Don't hurt the good kaiju." And they're like, "What? What did you just say?" Yeah, it's pretty solid. I am glad I'm caught up on it because like I said, I was an episode behind. Now I am no longer an episode behind. So yeah, good shit. Launch episode 5 for next Monday. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you into? What's got you going? I always like to hear. Lord Crashton wants me to hit the dance button. I will hit the dance button. Here's me hitting the dance button. Because we finished this kit now. I have hit the dance button. But yeah, I want to hear from you, friends, while I finish this kit up. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you reading? What are you listening to? We don't do that too often. I am hyped because in June we get the next Open Mike Eagle project, and I'm excited for that. I've been listening to the one single that is out for that, which is pretty fucking dope, and I'm excited for more of that because Open Mike Eagle fucking rules. That's kind of all I've been listening to. I listen mostly to podcasts these days. I can tell you for podcast wise, I am now caught up on Nextlander, and I'm caught up on Brad and Will made a tech pod, which I was behind on both of those. I'm now caught up on both of those. So hell yeah, good go me. As far as watching, I'm watching a bunch of anime. Rimbaru's real good right now, season 3. Shit's about to hit the fan. We're gonna get some fighting coming in. There's been mostly talk, and it's almost the time for talk is almost over, and then it's going to be the time for action. So I'm excited for that. And then these things don't really work as well as they should. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Oh, maybe I want to turn it like this. Then maybe I want to turn it like that. Yeah, I could do it like that. Okay. So that's been good. If you are watching Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, that shit is slow as hell. I would say, wait, I shouldn't be watching this weekly. I wasn't watching it weekly and I got caught up. And sometimes episodes happen and almost nothing happens in the episodes. It's all world building and I'm waiting for shit to pop off. Like one monster got killed. There are demons in the city destroying things. And our main character, who is incredibly strong, fought one monster. And I was like, fuck off. Fight more of them. There's just more intrigue happening. So hopefully he'll fight some more on next week's episode. But I might just take a break from watching Moonlit Fantasy and let myself get a backlog of it. But Rimmaru's been good. It's been mostly the hangouts. Again, shit is going to hit the fan. Right now it has been mostly chill. I am kind of getting used to laid back camp, but it still looks not great. And it still bums me out that it doesn't look stellar and incredible. This new art style is bad. And if it had been that way the whole time, I'd still like the show. The voice acting is still awesome. But yeah, I'm not loving it because of the art. The art makes me unhappy for season 3 of Laid Back Camp, and that is a real fucking shame because that show otherwise is cool as hell. So here we go with our weird things. We take our shoulders off, and then we got weird weapons on the arms, and that's fun. Ghost Valve, hey Ghost Valve, I stayed and instead just worked on the Phantom Gundam HG. Nice. Lord Crashton's probably going to grab Hades 2 in early access. Yeah. I have to see how my budget's doing as far as video games go. If I can make that purchase or if I have to wait. I might have to wait on it because I'm not there on my dental work funds, so I might have to go out of pocket for even more of it than I was expecting. And so I have to be good about that stuff. So right now it's like dental work and then buying model kits. So I have a backlog of model kits. So I don't know if I can buy any games this month. Look, Chris says, but I'm probably most excited about Operation Guns DLC for Vampire Survivors. That does seem fun. I'm not going to get that because I'm good on Vampire Survivors. I think I'm done with that game, but that's cool. Yeah, so also I kind of don't want to do early access. I didn't do early access for Hades. I just got Hades and loved it. So I don't know if I really want to do early access for that game, where I could instead just play it when it comes out. So I might just do that. I don't know yet. It's going to be really difficult to get a good photo of this. I think this will work. All right, we'll just do it like that. My problem is I have beat Hades 1, but like didn't exhaust all the story and don't know if I want to go back that first. I mean, Lastbrook, if you don't want to go back, don't go back. There's a lot to love in Hades, and you could find, I'm sure, more cool shit to do in there. All right, my overall impressions of the R-GyaGya. This kit does not want to stay together. It's very cool and very ambitious and neat looking, but I didn't love building it, and it doesn't like to stay together well. I don't rank builds, but I will say, let's see, not in the scope of recommended, not recommended, recommended for sickos. This is recommended for sickos only. If you are not a sicko, this is not the kit for you. And by sicko, one, not a pejorative, not an insult. Two, I mean model kit building sicko, where you're like, I want to build all the kits from this show, or I want to build all the kits that I want to build every high grade that is in the last 15, 20 years. I want to build all of the night themed kits. I want to build all of the whatever. Then get this. But if you're just like, I want to buy kits that are interesting looking, you can get weirder, you can get cooler. This is not something you need to get. This is not a must have. This is that was pretty all right. Yes. I'm not a fan of the style for this model. Yeah, totally, Lord Christian. You don't have to be. I love a night-themed kit. I love a kit with big weapons and big, bulky nonsense. It's just not a very good one of those, unfortunately. Also, if I did paint or spray paint, I would make the gold look really like it. I would make the gold. I would make this look more like it does in the photo. Oops. Where is it? Here. R-GyaGya. Like, look at that. The photo gold looks way better than this gold. I would want it to look like that. It's not going to look like that. So that goes away, and instead, boom, we got our next build, which we're not going to get into, but we're going to get started on like sorting it. We'll crack open this Lego set and kind of get into that. Despite me having my light go out, it's still very warm in here, so I'm not looking to like go super long on this build, or on the stream, I should say. But yeah, this is the Lego. Good lighting in that photo to make it pop. Yes, indeed, Lord Crashes. This is the Spaceship and Asteroid Discovery. It's part of the like anniversary of the space stuff. So even though this is a Lego City, they're still like, yeah, it's Lego City, but also here you go, build a spaceship. So we're building a spaceship. We're building this little stations as well. We got a couple figures. We got an alien with a smiley face. Gonna be cute. We got two. Whoa. Well, that's weird. A big chunk of our spaceship is just one piece. That's odd. We got bag one, yes, we got instructions booklet 1 and booklet 2. The booklet 1 is just the ship. Booklet 2 is all the fun extra stuff, it looks like. So we'll start with booklet 1, which I'm going to assume is just bag 1. But yeah, we'll start with bag 1. So we're just going to sort bag 1 here. But an important thing to do with this is that we're going to null. We're going to get our pieces together and then put them. We might actually do both bags here. We'll see. I don't know how long this is going to take. Thank you to the anonymous person that bought this kit for me. They did not include their name. I do not know who bought this, but thank you very much. Appreciate you very, very much. What's on? But yeah, we're going to build our first minifig, and then we'll also do all our canolan. Smirk is the only face we have for this one. No other option for this head. Okay, put that on. We got to find this. But yeah, let's see. What's coming up with me? Oh yeah, I can tell you about tomorrow's stream a little bit. I can do a little promoting for myself. You know, we're talking about Hades 2, the big Steam early access game. Well, I'm not playing that tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream, I am going to be playing another great early access game called Mars First Logistics. We got space going on here. Mars First Logistics had a big update in January, and I have not streamed it since it got a big update. So I would like to stream that game now that a few things have changed, and I don't know what those things are. Apparently, some of the streamlined stuff. One of the big ones that I do know is the grappling hook. Basically, when you use the grappling hook, your vehicle becomes transparent, so you can see through it, which should theoretically greatly increase the visibility when using it. And that's going to be really fun. I'm excited for that. I think that is a excellent bit of business that should really improve some things in that game. And there are a few other changes that we'll get into probably when the game, when we're playing it tomorrow. But that's tomorrow. Hang out with me for Mars First Logistics. Again, the early access game that everyone's talking about on Steam. I mean, I'm talking about it, so I'm excited to play it because, again, it is a game that I like quite a bit. That, again, still in early access, but changes have been made. I'm excited to see a couple of those changes. I believe there's some new equipment, and there was a big fundamental change in building that I'm excited to see how that works, which, again, I have to dive into because I don't really know all of the ins and outs of it. But I'm excited to find out. Lord Crashton says, I've been rewatching Giant Bomb's Mario Party series, and I think Mario Party 5 might be the best convention show. That one's fun. I'm in the crowd for for Mario Party 5. I'm in the crowd for that show, and then I leave to go pet kittens because the Humane Society of Seattle, Greater Seattle area, partnered with Exploding Kittens to do a cat petting thing. And so I went and petted some kittens and then came back and they were still playing. So I left to go do that. And they were still playing that game when I was done. So I was happy to come back for a bit of that nonsense. But yeah, that one is a really fun time. It is fun with a live crowd. You watch in real time Brad Shoemaker understand why being a bad guy in wrestling is fun. You get to actually watch him put it together and piece it together and go, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I get this. Yeah, I'm fucking you over, and the crowd responds to me fucking you over. Okay. Yeah, I always found that to be very enjoyable. This kit does not have any stickers. It does all the screen printing for you, which is cool. I do like, I have been known to be a fan of doing the work myself as well. So I'm a little miffed about that because I do like doing the work. But yeah, they did the work for me by doing all the printing here. So we don't have to worry about that stuff. We'll probably Noel bag 2 as well, just because this isn't that big of a kit, so we might as well get all this together here. Just kind of putting some stuff together. We'll take this dark gray over here, put that there, put the clear there. I'm just kind of separating by colors, trying to make sense of it. Put some gray there. That's good. Okay, great. Yeah, we might as well know bag 2 because I'm not really going to get started on this. So I can get him there. You're not the guy that Jeff asked to take him with him. No, I don't believe Jeff is asking me to leave. He is asking to leave with me when I leave. That. But I do, because I'm sitting in the back for that show because I'm watching and enjoying. But I also then do bug out at one point. But I get to go pet kittens. I did that 2 years in a row. It was awesome. All right, I have now emptied both bags here. We got our other astronaut. I'm going to have to get into bag 2 to find out how our other astronaut goes together. This looks like, okay, goes there, there, there. Different kind of helmet, and then a backup piece. And then I need the green. There's the green. Green helmet on her head. Cool, cool, cool. I do like these astronauts. Oh, and I can make, we might as well make our alien here, our alien friend. All right. So now I'm just going to null these pieces here. Separate these, put these there. Thursday stream, we'll be working on this Lego set. It will be starting this Lego set. I am excited to work on it. I hope you will come hang out on Thursday for that. And just general chatting and hanging out and, you know, working on stuff. Excited for all those things. And I hope you'll come hang out on Thursday. But, of course, tomorrow also for Mars First Logistics. Return. Again, have not played that in a while. I don't know. I kind of want to revisit a few things here and there. There's some stuff that I haven't done in a bit. We will be doing another night of Jackbox. Not maybe Jackbox. We're definitely going to go back to wrestling because there is a DLC pack that comes out this month. I have all the DLC because I bought the early version, so I get the game days early. So I have all the DLC, so I want to use some matches with all the DLC. So, of course, we'll do that. And, of course, I also need to get a few more dollars on my Ko-Fi to pay for dental stuff. So, we probably have to do another that. That'll probably be the middle of the week. I have to see when that DLC comes out because I'll want to stream around that DLC because people might be interested in seeing the CM Punk and Friends, which I believe is mostly ECW people. We'll have to get that out there. Probably won't play as Punk, but we'll play as, I don't know, we'll have Sandman do some matches. I don't know. There'll be some people in there in that DLC pack that I want to see. And so we'll get that going. Because I think that'll be neat. And just going to sort all this. Thing is, I'm sorting all this, and then I'm going to shove it all into piles anyway, but might as well sort it all so I can find it all easier later. It's the goal. But I will organize this some between this and I won't need this until Thursday. I won't need all these there, but it'll be a lot easier to find all this stuff on Thursday when it's time to stream. And we just got all the bags together. Nice and easy. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And put that there. And I'll put that there. Great. I have knolled all of this. And I am prepped for a stream where I build it on Thursday. And that's going to do it for tonight's stream. That is going to finish things up. We are going to raid, though. That is how we end every stream around here. We're going to go find some cool people doing cool things. It's Monday, so we're going to check in to see if Ms. Kish is streaming. Because as Judge says, we always end with a raid. We'll find out. And if Mary isn't streaming, then we'll go and raid somebody else. So we'll see. We'll see what's what. Mary Kish is streaming. She's played Mini Shoot Adventures. So we'll go hang out and watch some Mini Shoot Adventures. I watched Jeff Gerstmann play this last week. It seems real fucking rad. It is a Zelda-like, but you are a spaceship. You are piloting a spaceship, or you are a spaceship. Either way, it's pretty fucking cool. So we're going to go raid Mary. Feel free to come along on this raid. You're always welcome to. Would love to have you there. I want to thank everybody for taking the opportunity to join me here on stream. See, the thing is, Lord Crashington, I think both the audio and visual style are great. I think they're fantastic. I don't think it needs anything. It's a small indie game. I don't think it needs to be a fucking AAA. I think it's cool the way it is. But we're going to hang out with Mary. She's playing a game, again, that I think is pretty fucking rad. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Feel free to come along on this raid. Come back tomorrow for some Mars First Logistics. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.